Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. So this is an update on a case that I covered about 3 months ago, back in August on the channel, about little Miranda Sipps. On the screen is her mother, Denise Balbanita, 36 years old, and her stepfather, Gerald Gonzalez. They were indicted by a grand jury on charges of injury to a child after Miranda, their daughter, 12-year-old at the time, she died back on August 12th after succumbing to injuries she sustained days prior. According to docket records, they appeared in court on December 4th, and they are currently set for a jury trial on February 3rd, 2025. Now, both of them have been released on bond since this arrest on August 13th, and they were both released on a $200,000 bond apiece. So they are free right now, and there looks like there's some issues with attorneys. I'm looking at more information on that, but I did want to play a bit of the press conference that I did not show in the previous video, where the sheriff spoke about the arrest and the case.
Good afternoon. My name is David Soward, S-O-W-A-R-D. I'm the sheriff of Atascosa County, and to my left here is my chief deputy, Jake Guerra. And around the room here is members of the Criminal Investigation Division and my command staff, many of them who took part in the investigation. We became aware of this Monday, the 12th, shortly after 8 p.m. 911 dispatchers here at my office received a call from a lady that said her daughter was in need of medical attention, having trouble breathing, maybe even stopped breathing. EMS and deputies were dispatched down to the city of Christine, which is about 8 miles south of Jourdanton off of Highway 16 and FM 140, a small community. While the deputies and EMS were en route, the lady left with the child. The little girl is 12 years old. She's in junior high at Jourdanton High School, and a cheerleader at Jourdanton Junior High School. So on the way here, my dispatchers made contact with them again and told them to pull off on the side of the road south of Jourdanton, which they did, and EMS was directed to meet them there on Highway 16 and 140. That happened. The child was transported to Methodist Atascosa Hospital here in Jourdanton, and a helicopter was dispatched, but she was never airlifted. The child passed away in the emergency room at the hospital here. Of course, we immediately started an investigation, and my investigators learned that this little girl had sustained injuries on the previous Thursday, so 4 days prior in the evening. The injuries were severe and life-threatening, and instead of calling EMS or taking their daughter to the hospital, then they just left her in the house and tried tending to her, but she was primarily unconscious, unresponsive, incapacitated. She remained there at the home for 4 days and basically did not receive any medical attention at all. They did try a couple of remedies, like maybe trying to give her a smoothie with some vitamins. Of course, somebody that's unconscious, that's hard to do. She started having respiratory distress Monday, and that's when she called us for basically 4 days, 96 hours, more or less, after the injuries were sustained. As I said, we conducted an investigation. My investigators interviewed all the witnesses, interviewed the mother and the stepfather, and who told us the story of how they thought the injuries occurred and what they did and didn't do. Upon completing this initial investigation, we had probable cause to charge these individuals with injury to a child with serious bodily injury, which is a first-degree felony, by omission. So in other words, by failing to act and provide the little girl medical attention constituted omission and therefore injury to a child by omission. Yesterday afternoon, officers from the sheriff's office went to Christine with arrest warrants, and we arrested the mother and the stepfather without incident. They've been booked into the Atascosa County Jail, and their bond has been set at $200,000 each. The mother is identified as Denise Balmanetta, age 36, and the stepfather is identified as Gerald Gonzalez, age 40. Our victim is Miranda Sipps, age 12, and she would have been 13 later this month. She was sent for an autopsy. We're still waiting for the final autopsy results, which will be a little while. In the meantime, we have some investigating to do on different things, and we're following up on those leads.
Now, he does go through some questions with the media, but a lot of things remained unanswered. It basically sounds like that from what the parents, the mother and the stepfather, told authorities, Miranda experienced some sort of a trauma to her neck on August 8th, and I guess they did not want to bring attention to themselves. So since she was still alive, even though she was basically, she had to be in pain and struggling, they decided to keep her at home and try to feed her smoothies and do whatever they could do in the home instead of bringing her to the hospital or calling 911. So basically, they're going to be charged with a failure to act and provide medical care for your own child. There is known that there is a record also of previous calls to the home as far as law enforcement, welfare checks, that sort of stuff. On March 28th of 2024, deputies were called for a welfare check after a female was seen with scratches on her. Records show a deputy was sent to the home, and both a male and a female stated that it was all verbal. The second incident was on November 1st of 2023. Jordanton Elementary School called CPS, Child Protective Services, to report marks on a child. CPS called authorities to report the information per records. No further information about the case was revealed in the documents. And lastly, on October 29th of 2023, it states a person called authorities and reported that Gonzalez, which was the stepfather, was at the location and refused to leave. Authorities responded and the parties were separated. So there were at least 3 incidents involving law enforcement and child protective services before the incident that caused Miranda's death. So I don't know if there'll be other charges, and law enforcement does seem to be unsure of that beyond the 2 charges they have just charged them with. We should know more, obviously by February when the trial begins, the jury trial. But I just cannot understand how a parent could not call, get proper medical assistance for their child. I mean, or loved one, at all. It's just it just blows my mind. Unfortunately, we have so many cases these days of parents hurting or killing their children, children killing their parents. Awful, awful things. We read about it every day, in the news. But something like this, which sounds like she may have injured herself, maybe playing outside, if it had to do with her neck. If neither of these adults, her mother or stepfather, actually inflicted the injuries on Miranda or were any cause of it, I don't understand why they wouldn't, call for help or bring her to get help. And the family also didn't want law enforcement to come to the home, which is why mom was driving, the daughter as she called 911. So a lot of really strange, suspicious things on the part of, the mom and the stepfather, for sure. So let me know what you guys think on this one. And I'll keep apprised since we know that we have a trial coming up after the new year in February. Man, there's a lot of February trials coming up, guys. So I think 2025 may be a big year for trials as well. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.